Yeah, I have to check to see if it's live on your channel. It's on there.
You figured that out before the channel owner figured it out?
My phone, all it says is my podcast was 42 minutes ago.
No.
That's all that's up.
Your podcast was 42 minutes ago?
No, it says my podcast, and it said it was posted 42 minutes ago.
I got a notification because I'm subscribed with the bell on.
So your notification squad.
Yeah.
So it's live then. It's working.
Yeah.
How does everything look?
It appears to be functioning.
We are live. Welcome to the Kinville Show. Title could be changed at any moment. Drop of a hat.
Episode 1.
Don't get attached. I fly by night.
Yeah, don't be confused. It's episode 1, not the pilot.
Yeah. We tried the pilot last night. We had the cameras going, unlisted video, so nobody can see it. Someday, if the fans are really clamoring, we'll release the hidden file. But
put it on the Patreon.
Yeah, we wanted to do a show. I really wanted to do a show since I was a kid and sat on the toilet and had nothing better to do. And I would imagine I was getting interviewed on Greg in the Morning Buzz to pass the time on the toilet as a kid, long before cell phones. So I always thought it'd be fun to do. Carter went and took the initiative and bought all the equipment, so he's kind of the producer.
Yeah.
He's the bankroll of the operation, and he's also sitting behind the computer. So that's Carter over there. I'm Caleb. If you didn't know, this is my YouTube channel. This is Curtis over here to my left. If you're watching on video. And,
how are you guys related?
Curtis and Carter are my older brothers. They forged the path for me. And this is our dad right here. So we're all, the three of us, we're all brothers, if you didn't know, if you've never been on the channel before. If you've been on the channel, so we got some people, we know our guy, Alan. If you're out there watching.
Does he still go by Alan?
What
was it Alan or Craig for? I don't know which one's
I don't
first.
want to expose the guy. It's one or the other. It's Alan or Craig. Sorry, Craig. If it's not Alan, I don't know. Sorry.
It's somebody, though.
Shout out. You're a fan. You'd actually probably recognize everyone in the room.
If he's still out there, maybe he'll get in the chat.
If you get in the chat, feel free to drop a super chat. That should be active. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's active. I don't know how we can look up on that. Check on that, but I am eligible for super chats on YouTube. Not everybody gets that privilege, so that's pretty exciting.
Carter's happy to hear that. Maybe we'll get some return on investment.
Yeah, actually, I was just looking this isn't monetized right now, but I can turn that on.
Well, that'd be a good idea.
Well, the monetization part I don't think matters until after it's live. Like, I don't think it cuts in ads while we're live, but when we post it after the fact, then ads will go. Ideally, ads will go every 3 minutes if I have everything set properly and the YouTube gods align. I think every 3 minutes is as fast as they'll pump ads. But I was watching Donnie Darko free on YouTube with ads last night, and it's still better than trying to watch things on like classic TV. In terms of commercial breaks, you can still skip the ad. And
have you tried watching anything on Amazon? You can get like 5, 6, 7 minutes of commercials before something shows up. It's brutal.
On Amazon Prime, if you don't, or if you just watch it for free, you don't actually have Prime.
No, with Prime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you go to Play Stuff and they'll say 7 commercials deep.
I actually been using Tubi a lot too, and that's got commercials, free stuff with commercials. But even that, I don't think is bad. Like, it'll be 15 or 20 minutes of movie, and then you'll have 3 YouTube style ads, and then you're back to what you're watching.
Yeah, the irony is we're back to broadcast television running ads.
True, completely true. But Tubi comes on. You just buy the TV and Tubi's on it. You don't have to make an account. You don't have to pay for anything. Sign up for anything. Nobody's got your address. So
it is literally broadcast TV.
Cable TV.
Or
no, not even.
I guess maybe I'm not really familiar with like rabbit ear television. I have no experience with that, but
as the old guy in the room, that was the complaint from people that got over the air television when cable came around. I'm paying for this. Why do I got to watch commercials?
Yeah.
People with cable were complaining about it.
Yeah, they sign up and pay so much a month for cable because you weren't supposed to have commercials. But guess what? They got you.
Well, now that everyone's really screwed. And I'm of the opinion right now, I haven't got YouTube Premium, but my experience with watching stuff on YouTube with ads, I think if I got YouTube Premium, I think that might be better than anything. Because
you're not signed into Carter's account?
No. But yeah, I don't know if you get access to the whole YouTube library of movies for free, or if you still have to rent them.
As far as I know, they're all. I mean, I haven't seen anything come up that you had to pay for. Of course, it's hard to get to anything after you filter through the algorithm that your mother alters every day. So
yeah,
I think there's only
Christmas decorations,
Christmas decor.
I think there's only a certain number of movies that they actually have for streaming. A lot of them you'd have to buy anyway.
Well, I noticed it's like any streaming platform, it's kind of a rotating catalog. Like stuff, I'll see stuff advertised. It's on YouTube Movies, buy or rent, and or whatever. But yeah, I don't know how you get away from advertisements. Every third video on TikTok is actually an advertisement. Whether you knew that or not, that's just a fact. It's literally every third video, and if you pay attention, you'll know. But I'd say I successfully drowned maybe 30 hours this week into TikTok. That's just a guess. I haven't actually checked the number.
You ever feel bad about yourself for watching that much TikTok?
I don't know. It's conflicting because I think you could spend that much time doing any form of digital entertainment. You know,
Toon Blast.
Yeah, it's not like if I was sitting in front of a TV and using TikTok, maybe then I would think it's a problem. But where I'm not consuming other kinds of entertainment, then I don't think it's as bad of a problem.
I don't know. TikTok and Reels is pretty mind melting.
She's saying I'm the one that has the problem because I have the TV on and I play Toon Blast constantly.
Well, no, that's different too because now you're playing a game, and so what I would do if I'm playing a game, I put something on in the background to listen to kind of while I'm playing a game. So I don't think that's bad either. I don't know. I sometimes I guess I feel like my brain is melted a little bit in like my attention span. Like I can't remember the last time I really like sat down and watched a movie without being on my phone. Probably Deadpool 2. Me and Calvin saw that in theaters. If I'm in a theater, out of respect, I won't use my phone. Doesn't mean I don't want to, or go to the bathroom to check it at some times. But that's the only thing. I feel like it does kind of wear on your attention span because I want to see a beginning, middle, and end within a minute and 30 seconds. And that's what's going to satisfy me.
If I didn't feel the need to use the GPS every once in a while or check my email or text people for work, I'd like to go back to a flip phone and try it for a while.
Really? You think you could handle that?
Well, I don't know. I think with the...
I think it'd be good for you. I don't think you could handle it.
I think it'd be good if phones didn't exist. Honestly, I mean...
I don't know. I think...
No, you guys, that's the problem, though, is you don't have any experience of never being tethered, ever. You know? I mean, you were little, so you're tethered to your mother.
Yeah.
And then you eventually got a phone, and you're tethered to everyone, or to the phone, whatever. You know, when I was a kid, you could do whatever you wanted to do, basically. And even as an adult, for quite a while, the phone wasn't existent. So, you know, you had a phone in your house, and that was it. If you weren't home, you didn't have to talk to anybody. No one knew where you were.
I think it was like 2010 when Mom got a touchscreen phone. It wasn't even a smartphone. And it was a little while after that I think maybe you might have got a smartphone before Mom, I think. I feel like your first Kyocera is really the first smartphone I remember
Was
using.
it the Kyocera or was it a different?
No,
brand?
it was a Kyocera.
I remember,
Duraforce.
I remember Calvin's birthday
Brigadier.
party. We were
Brigadier.
staying in Wells at that campground, and Angry Birds had just come out, and we were taking turns. We were at a campground sitting by a swimming pool, but we were taking turns playing Angry Birds on here.
Were we
Kyocera.
by a swimming pool or was it during Hurricane Irene?
It
Both.
was during
was both.
Hurricane Irene. Same weekend that the Smurfs live action and the reboot of Planet of the Apes came out. It came out same weekend.
Do you remember what movie we went to see that weekend?
We went to see Planet of the Apes because
We
I was
did?
upset about it because I wanted to see Smurfs.
But it was Calvin's birthday.
It was
so-
Calvin's birthday. He, I think, made the deciding call, and I was outvoted anyway. Planet of the Apes was a great movie. I think we all agreed. We were glad we saw it.
Was that the first one?
That was the first one with James Franco and whatever the old man from Third Rock from the Sun,
Oh, yeah.
whatever his name is.
Yeah. Can't think of it, but
The voice from Shrek. It's the going deep on the IMDb credit.
What's going on with those pants? Why are there pockets on the front?
On the front. These are from the Kim Possible collection. No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. These were on sale on Duluth, probably because the pockets are directly in the front. So for a lot of types of work, it's probably not ideal. Like I wouldn't wear these when I'm splitting firewood because I'm always picking up logs on my lap. So these pockets would just get filled with shit, and whatever was in them would get smashed. But I have been like working around the wreck. If you're holding screws or whatever, like I just did, I fold the pockets in. You got these big, huge knapsacks. You can just toss stuff in. But I don't know. I thought they looked cool, and they did remind me of Kim Possible, and so I bought them. But I haven't seen anyone else wearing them, which is also a plus. If you're into workwear fashion, it's hard to find something that's legitimate workwear that not everybody has.
yeah, it's too bad I couldn't get a sponsorship from Duluth. I think that's all anybody in our family wears.
Well, yeah, it's funny because right now, literally, we're all wearing Duluth pants in this room, just by coincidence, because that's how often we're all wearing them.
Oh, I don't own anything else, so
I don't. Do you own anything else, Curtis?
Yeah, I got
Some jeans.
Yeah, I
couple
got
pairs of
jeans, but as far as work pants go,
I'm
I
too
think,
fat to wear jeans.
I think all my work pants are Duluth, and yeah, then I got jeans that are Wrangler, but other than that, it's Duluth. Just once you find what you like. So actually, this is funny. I was talking to the kids that I work with. I work with a bunch of high schoolers in the afternoon. They come in for a after school program, taking care of kids sort of thing, and I'm kind of in charge of them. I guess I am in charge of them. I'm kind of their boss, but I'm new to that. So anyway, I'm always just trying to talk to them because they're all really shy, and I'm just trying to get them to open up a little bit and have fun at the job because you're supposed to have fun. It's not supposed to be a miserable place to work. It's supposed to be a good time. Anyway, they were talking about buying shoes at the mall, and I started complaining about the last time I had tried to buy shoes at the mall. I went to a Journeys because I saw something in the window that I liked that I hadn't seen at the Zoomies or whatever else was in the mall. There's not many options. But I went into the Journeys, asked him for a size 12, and he said, I'll check the back. And he comes out and says, we only have a 9.5, but if you want, we can order it to your house. Totally pointless. I could have just stayed home, ordered them to my house. They don't carry anything in an adult size at Journeys. It's for girls and children. And anyway, so I'm telling this story to the kids that I work with, and one of them goes, goes, "You go to the mall to buy shoes?" And I'm like, well, I used to. And another girl that's worked there for a couple of years, she goes, "I think you've had the same sneakers since I started working here," which is true. I've had them much longer than she's been working there. And I'm like, yeah, I guess the last time I went shopping at the mall for sneakers, it was probably legitimately 10 years ago. It was probably before I had a driver's license that I was...
When was the last time we went shopping at the mall for anything?
Anything in particular, I don't know, but...
I mean, our mall has...
Nothing left.
Kind of a half a food court.
Last thing I bought in the mall...
An antique toy store.
Yeah, I was
Collectibles?
I was in
I
one
don't
of the
know.
collectibles stores and I bought something, but that was like, you know, when you're walking through the ghost town of the mall, it's like, oh, this thing's open. Let's throw him a bone. But
I feel like it'd be cool to go to a mall just for the experience again. One that was actually had stores in it.
I've
Well,
been going
that's-
to the mall pretty regularly.
With a food court that actually has decent food.
Yeah. Get a New York slice
I've had really bad luck at
or
the
Chick-fil-A.
Mall of New Hampshire. As far as wanting it, like the stores are okay. As far as wanting a food court experience, it's so the Mall of New Hampshire is in Manchester, which is like to make a Star Wars reference. It's the most wretched hive of scum and villainy, and the employees reflect that. So if you got more than one person in there, like so, first of all, nobody wants to work because you can just stay home and make as much money as you can going to work. Nobody wants to work, but the people that are there, they're generally all like methed up or something. Like they're on something and they're working slow, or they were born slow and it's not their fault, but there's nobody there to help them. And I've never had a good experience in that mall, and I kind of swore off malls for a long time. But we were at the is it technically a mall in Florida because it's outside?
Orlando Premium Outlets.
Orlando Premium Outlet. So technically it's an outlet mall. You have to walk outside, but the food court is a massive connected room, air conditioned, good food court. I went to a couple different places in the food court.
Lots of options. Real busy.
I will say I had a miserable... What was the friggin' potato place I got? I can't remember the name of the
what was
place
the name of it now?
It was... I think it was a steak and cheese sub thing was primarily their ticket. I really can't remember. It's not something we have around here, but I'm sure it's a chain in Florida. But I did have a tough time getting my cheesy fries from those guys.
I can attest to that.
But you know, that was one bad apple spoiling the whole bunch in that scenario. And I had ordered Shake. Was it Shake Shack that was in there? What was the burger place?
I think it was Shake Shack.
Yeah, Shake Shack. I'd gotten a Shake Shack burger. I was happy with that. And then I ordered cheesy fries from a different place. And Slow Mojo behind the counter, he was not getting the job done, and he was screwing up the fry game for everybody. But the guy that was taking the order...
He was screwing it up after being taught several times and very slowly how to do his job. And the idea that he couldn't dip a ladle into liquid cheese and pour it over the fries... Just amazing that somebody could be that thick.
It just, it was an act of stubbornness. This was somebody that clearly didn't want to be there and didn't have the maturity to just leave.
I think you're giving him a lot of credit. I would say he was just stupid.
Could have been that too. Could have been drugs. I would not have been shocked to find out it was drugs. Anyway, that's my mall experience. But kind of going back to what I was saying about telling this story at work about going to the mall is like I guess like how often do you have those moments where you realize like the last time you did something was 10 years ago. Like for me it's kind of a recent development because previously going back 10 years you didn't really have memories, but now I go back 10 years and I was 14. I can remember being 14 clear as day. Maybe not clear as day, but pretty clear. And that's when we were making all of our Lego videos. That's when we started doing that. I was 14, so
10 years ago for me, I couldn't tell you what I was doing. I had no idea. I can't hardly remember what I did this week.
I want to say you were logging somewhere nearby, somewhere close enough that I was able to drive the truck there without a license. Oh no, what? No, before this was when we were over in
Maybe New Durham.
yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. We were over in New Durham doing all that wood over there.
Yeah, that's well, it was either there or up in the woods behind our house when we had the golf cart.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
well, it wasn't there yet because, well, maybe it was.
Definitely
or
by 2015 we had the golf cart. Because
Or
when I
it
was
w-
15,
it
I would
was,
drive up there all the time.
in Wakefield. Why can't I think of the road name?
Oh yeah, Oak Hill
Hill.
Road. Could have been over there where you broke the wheel off the wood splitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was New Durham, only because I worked at SUR for 5 years, been road agent for a couple of years, and I sold that skidder on that job in New Durham. So that was only 7 or 8 years ago now. Piecing it all together.
Yeah. What about you, Curtis? What's making you feel old besides your hairline?
Zinger.
So I'm taking. I don't know. It was getting stale. I figured I'd take a shot. Maybe we'd spice things up.
I don't know. I'd basically the same thing. Going back and seeing pictures from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, when I look back and see pictures of
Yeah,
us
now
going,
we're back to the smartphone. Google Photos will do that for you every day, right? Tell you how
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
years ago something happened.
eight years ago, a video of us going four wheeling with our trucks, and
What
Yeah.
about the fact that Black Ops 6 is coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and what's funny to me is Call of Duty jumped the shark at Black Ops. Like that's how that's as a kid thinking like how many of these friggin' things are they gonna make? It kind of went in order, right? Like there was like 1, 2, and 3 for a second. There's all kinds of different ones, right?
Yeah,
There's
well,
probably
they-
like 5 by the time you got to Black
It's
Ops.
at least it's at least been 2 years between every Black Ops release or more, 2 years or more
It's-
between every Black Ops release.
That's just crazy to me.
And
That's
we're on number
That's
6.
when I tapped out. That's when I said, you know what, gaming's not for me. It'll probably never be for me. Curtis and Carter used to set up on Call of Duty, so every time I spawned in, they would kill me instantly.
Well, we didn't set it up like that.
Well, that's what happened.
I don't ever remember being that mean consistently. Maybe once in a while,
not consistently, but you got like maybe it was because you're older, or maybe I just really did suck, but it was enough to be like I never thought you guys were like world class gamers or something. But the fact that I couldn't keep up with you guys and Calvin, I was like, all right, screw it, it's not gonna happen.
I tapped out at Tiger Woods, whatever. I don't even remember what year.
I would guess 08.
07.
Yeah, I was gonna say 08, Tiger Woods, 2008. I think that's when I tapped out of gaming. But I probably should have tapped out way before that. I go back to the Atari 2600, so
You go back to the dawn of gaming, really.
Yeah.
Like what even existed for
well,
like
what that's one thing.
pinball was out before you, but just barely.
When my mother
Hold on.
was in a bowling league, that was the big thing. There was a Space Invaders machine and an Asteroids machine at the bowling alley, so that was my entertainment, and that was like there was not that many of them around then, so that bowling alley was hopping,
Yeah.
with those few video games, and they had pinball machines too, but yeah, that was I don't know, that's the 70s, so.
If you look at Hilltop, or not Hilltop, but Fun Spot, they've got pictures. So Fun Spot's the world's largest arcade located here in New Hampshire, if you didn't know. But they have all these pictures on the walls some of them from the 70s, like late 70s. But it's like mostly air hockey tables and
Yeah.
something else, some other kind of table game. There wasn't a ton of arcade
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. There's air hockey and foosball and like a
must
couple
have been
different
foosball.
versions of skee ball. Not necessarily what you see now, but some smaller versions of it and stuff like that. But yeah, and of course pinball machines, but they weren't like the crazy electronic ones you have now.
Yeah,
So
much simpler.
but yeah, I can remember that pretty well. That was I don't know why, but I always had to go to the bowling alley with my mother, and that was the good thing. The bowling alley had the video games, pinball machines, and then they had a candy machine, a coin-op candy machine. So, whatever you didn't spend in the video games,
Get a couple
pumping it
pieces.
in there, getting now and laters.
Was it a decent sized piece of candy, like something bigger than a nickel? Or
Well, I was a weirdo. I always got the crap. Like have you ever seen the now and laters? They're like hard, kind of taffy.
I don't know.
They're terrible, but I don't know why I liked them. It's kind of like how we like Smarties. Nobody
Yeah.
else likes those things. I actually
Yeah.
like Necco wafers, and people rail against Necco wafers.
Well, Necco wafers aren't bad. It's just with the candy market being what it is. Why would you pick a Necco
Well,
wafer?
another one is the circus peanuts. People hate the circus peanuts. You guys still like them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that circus peanuts. One of the
I guess we're Paco weirdos. I don't know.
one of the guys that I work with eats 2 packs of Smarties a night, and he counts out each one when he eats them. I pulled out pulled out a pack of Smarties at work one day, and I don't remember how many are in it one, but he said, "Do you eat all 16 of them or whatever?" And I said, "What?"
Did he like convulse when you started to just chuck them down your throat?
No,
Didn't count them, didn't sort them by color?
no, he didn't act like that. I think he's just a sweet freak, and that's how he keeps himself under control.
A couple Smarties at night.
Yeah.
Smarties are just straight sugar, though. Like,
Yeah.
what else is
Yeah, it's compacted sugar, I guess. I don't
like?
know.
You might not feel bad about yourself because you're not eating. A
Are
whole
they
lot.
actually all the same flavor or not?
I think so.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
I don't notice any difference.
I imagine they're different flavors when I eat them.
I think it's probably like the lollipops that they have at the poor people's pub.
Well, those
Yeah,
are different.
similar.
Those are different flavors.
No,
though.
they're not.
Does anybody ever sort the colors in M&Ms or Skittles?
Skittles,
Skittles.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not usually M&Ms.
Somebody tried to tell me Skittles aren't different flavored either, but I don't think that's true at all.
No, they're definitely different flavored.
The M&Ms I know are all the same. I know that.
Well, I don't know. Now you can buy those mixed bags, so
That's true. I do like the mixed bag of M&M. I don't like. I can do regular M&Ms. I can do peanut M&Ms. But if it's any other type of M&M by itself, the peanut butter M&Ms by themselves, I can't do it.
yeah, I don't like them either.
The mixed bag, I can do that. I'll paw through that all day.
I think for fun they should make mixed bag M&Ms, but not change the size or shape of them. Like if the peanut M&M is the biggest one, everything should be shaped the same so that you know what you're going to get.
Chocolate or caramel or nothing.
Brownie.
Brownie.
There's a brownie. What's that?
They got pretzel. They got everything. They got all type of shit now.
Well, it's
Too
kind of
much.
like what's the Jelly Bellies? You get the bad flavored
Bean
ones.
boozled.
Yeah.
The bean
Oh, Bean
boozled.
Yeah, you could do
Oh my
M&M
God.
boozled.
So the bean boozled thing, whose idea was this and who thought it would be fun? Because that's some of the most foul stuff I've ever done. The
Dog shit flavored
vomit
jelly bean.
flavored, the vomit flavored.
The biggest
or a
problem.
skunk spray.
Yeah, like it's so bad.
The biggest problem is jelly beans aren't even that good to begin with. So
My problem is
That's a hot take.
I don't like the mixed flavors of jelly beans that Jelly Belly does. Like if you get
That's what I
if you
was
get
gonna say.
Starburst jelly beans, those things are the best.
Yeah.
I could eat those nonstop. If you had
You don't like buttered popcorn?
no, that's exactly it.
I'd like
You
them all
can't have-
right, but
but it can't be with the sweet ones. I want to grab a handful and just throw them in my mouth and just enjoy what it is. But when
Yeah.
you got buttered popcorn in a chocolate flavored one, and then
black licorice.
yeah, it's all these nasty.
The coffee
flavors.
one. The coffee one throws it off for me.
And that's the coffee one is so strong that like you can smell it on the beans it was touching.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, yeah, it
it's,
tastes like you're eating a coffee bean.
Yeah, it's just not. I do not like that at all. Not a fan.
What do you suppose? Do you suppose anybody would find this interesting or entertaining that talking about jelly beans?
I don't know necessarily. Jelly beans might be a little too niche, but I do know. I personally listen to shows where guys talk about just their fast food experiences. Like
Yeah.
that'll be the primary topic. I was at this fast food place and I tried that, and that's what gets the topic rolling. So
Yeah, well, I think that's It kind of falls into this jelly bean category because it's something that's very common and anyone can relate to it, I suppose, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's every man sort of thing. Everyone's got to eat. Everyone's
You just made me think about something fast food related. I hate going to McDonald's and getting the little pieces of French fries that are left at the bottom of the bin. Like, can you make those holes? When they take the fries out of the fryer, they dump them in the metal pan, sprinkle the salt on them. If they made those holes just a little bit bigger so all the little bits would fall through and you could actually get fries, something that's over an inch long.
Yeah.
I hate getting a big pile of little tiny bits.
I feel like that's all you ever get though, unless you order a large fry.
Well, I only ever order large fries.
But I
How
think
often do you get a fresh batch that hasn't been tortured?
I think it's hit or miss. I've had it both ways, but I haven't ordered fries recently. I cut the fries out of my McDonald's order recently.
It has to have been because McDonald's changed the potato series, because I would think that they could source long potatoes so they could have all long fries, but it seems like
I think
fries are.
I think they just get smashed. They
That's-
freeze them and then they get smashed to bits. I think.
I don't know
Yeah.
where they're coming from, but by the time they get here, I bet they're just smashed.
Did you watch the video of Trump in the drive-thru?
Yeah, I saw some clips of it. I thought that was pretty good.
Happy birthday, Kamala.
I told you what he said about the first guy that was there. It was an Indian guy, and he's like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you for."
Was it Vivek?
Yeah, it pretty much. That's what he's like. You make it easy for ordinary people like me to meet you. And Trump goes, "You are not ordinary."
Take that for how you will, right?
Yeah. Well, I saw the clip and I thought I really took it as he goes, you're not ordinary, you're extraordinary.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah. That's
I didn't hear
think
that.
that's the
No
whole
pandering
clip.
going on there.
Yeah. So that's the way Carter put it was a lot funnier, but he was just being nice to the guy. I think.
Probably because I just busted out laughing when I heard him say, you're not ordinary."
So I saw this clip of Trump quotes, and in the background it had "Lose Yourself" by Eminem, just the beat playing, so it's like amping it up.
Yeah.
And but by the end of it, like I honest to God could not tell, like, was this somebody trying to put this together to say we like Trump, or is this somebody put this together to say look at what an asshole he is? Because I can't remember all the clips, but one of them is where the woman is listing off all the nasty things he's called women, and he just interrupts her and goes, "Only Rosie O'Donnell." That was one of the clips, and it's like you can see when this woman's listing off all the things he said about women, which I'm sure he has said. I don't think anyone would doubt he has said these things. It doesn't sound great, right? But then he totally takes the wind out of everybody with "Only Rosie O'Donnell." Like that was so funny and so well timed. Even if you're like yeah, that doesn't sound good, you're like, oh, like holy shit, like that was so entertaining. Like how do you?
I can't believe that Rosie O'Donnell still comes up in context with him. That was so long ago that they had a war,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they still are having a war. I mean, maybe they hate each other's guts, but
I don't even know who
Well,
that is.
that clip was from 2016, definitely.
yeah. But I mean, I don't even know when it was. It might have been pre-2000s. Might have been
Really?
the 90s when he was fighting with Rosie. So, I mean, I guess you're you're around a long time, and these things are gonna keep coming back to you because they're both famous people. But
They're in the same celebrity generation too, so
yeah, I know what you're saying about the commercials though, because you hear these commercials and they're trying to bash another candidate, but everything they're saying, it's like, well, I agree with that.
yeah,
What-
it's like that kind of sounds all right.
Yeah, so what are you trying to turn me away from you, or And I suppose to some degree that's natural, right? If you agree with the other person, but it's just when you're listening to it, it's like, I don't know what you're doing here. Are you trying to get me to vote for them or for you?
That's the thing. Like, and also like, so I get all the ads for either side of the political aisle, right?
Yeah.
And it's always slandering the other side. I don't really know what anybody, like, if I didn't independently search desperately, I feel like it's a desperate search to try and figure out what anybody
Yeah.
stands for, believes in, may or may not be willing to do. Like, it's almost a complete mystery to me. You really have to look hard, and even then, I feel like I'm trusting other people's opinions about what they say and think about these people. You know?
I don't even know. You could read 20 different articles on somebody and you're going to not get any facts out of it. It's so ridiculous how bad, well, whether you want to say it's the media or entertainment or information in general, the internet is littered with non-facts, I suppose, except for Wikipedia, because everyone knows that.
Yeah, anyone in the world can just write anything they want about anything.
So it's got to be true.
It's got to be the best stuff.
Yeah, I forget what who it was, a local candidate, might have been for governor, and I just couldn't even believe the ad. Like, it was clear that they were lying about the other person, but it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
And well, so like, I guess maybe like I'm trying to think. Like, I think like when I saw the Robert Kennedy Jr. ads, and he's painful to listen to. It's like nails on a chalkboard to listen to him. But
Yeah.
But when he was trying to make a campaign for himself, when he was running ads, I felt like he said something. Like, he didn't just come out and say what other people weren't doing. He said, I want to do this, this, and that, right? And he was that was what every ad I felt like I saw.
Sure.
What? No one else wants to try that. No one else wants to give that a shot. Like,
Yeah, that's a guy coming out and taking a stand on things, and nobody's got more skeletons than that guy. I mean, they're trying to tear him down, everything that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah. Honestly, well, it's kind of surprising, like the way things are today. It's kind of surprising he is still allowed in the public eye, kind of thing. Because didn't he kill someone with his car or something? He used to be on drugs all the time. This is just what you hear through the grapevine.
There was some story about running over a bear and a person and a bicycle and hauling them all to the city and then going on an airplane. Who knows?
Like if any of the stuff you hear about, if it happened to anybody today, it could be a famous person, could be a non-famous person. If it happened to anybody, there would be so much evidence of how horribly wrong whatever it was happened. There'd be some evidence of some wrongdoing somewhere, and you'd just be screwed. Like, just from what you hear, what may or may not have happened.
If it happened today, though, there'd be video footage of you, because you can't go anywhere without being on camera. So
yeah,
at least
that's what I mean. You'd see,
or being tracked by your phone.
You'd have some form of evidence, and you wouldn't have a leg to stand on. You couldn't be like, it was years ago. I was young, because people would just pull out the video and be like, you didn't look that young to me.
Yeah. If you're saying, well, I wasn't here at this certain time. Well, if you got a phone on you and you haven't shut it off somehow or disabled it, they're going to know exactly
Smashed
where
it
you are.
and soaked it in water.
Run it through a chipper. Although I don't know, that's it. What do they do in movies? They always do something. They smash it. They take the battery out. They throw the pieces all over the place.
With the old phones that you could take apart, they'd take it all apart.
You mean the
take
burner
SIM card
phone?
out. Yeah. But burner phone, that was a plot line in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Barney was getting a bunch of new burner phones to deal with all the women he puts up with. And but so How I Met Your Mother, again, going back to the 10 years ago thing, How I Met Your Mother, contemporary show when I was a kid that's taking place in the time it was filmed. Now when you watch it, it's extremely dated.
Yeah.
There's an episode where Marshall's back in Minnesota, and he's got a flip phone, but it doesn't have service at his parents' house in Minnesota. So the whole episode is him sitting in his parents' house next to the landline, and then his friends calling them on flip cell phones from New York, and that was pretty true to the time, really.
Oh, yeah.
Like those were the phones people had. And still to this day, if you're in a rural area, you might not have cell phone service. That's true to this day. So
yeah, when I went from an analog bag phone to a handheld phone, I had two different providers at one time and two different phones because, one provider worked good in one spot, and then you might go 20 miles away, and then they didn't work at all. You had to have a different provider. So I had two phones, and I'm not even important. I didn't even do anything. But if you wanted to be in touch for whatever reason,
Yeah,
you had to make
be
those
connected.
I think How I Met Your Mother's dated for another reason too, because they wouldn't have made it like that if you made it now. Barney wouldn't have, and I realize it's sort of ironic that Barney, he's the actor is
Neil
gay.
Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris is gay, but playing a womanizing, character. But nowadays they wouldn't even do that. They would make him be gay because that would be the most woke thing to do, and not only be gay, but be prolifically gay, let's say, and then you're going to look at that in 10 or 15 years and all the stuff that's going on now, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that
They were
any of this
they were
stuff is
really
going
caught
on.
up in something.
Yeah.
when they were making that. Yeah, it's true. How I Met Your Mother. I mean, you always said you never thought it was that funny when it was on.
I liked it initially. Like, we watched it pretty religiously, and then towards the end, I just think it, jumped the shark.
Yeah, it definitely got worse towards the end because they already had a set ending from the show's conception.
Yeah.
And they should have got to that ending a little bit quicker.
Yeah, they could have gotten there a couple of seasons earlier and didn't. They were beating some of the same joke into the
Yeah.
ground episode after
Easily.
episode. So, but it was obviously it was making money and it was paying people, so you keep it going.
Crazy thing is too, I think, like if I was watching that week to week, I probably would have got sick of it, like waiting for these episodes
yeah.
with no payoff. But because I binge watched the whole thing, like that last season, I think the entire last season of the show is supposedly taking place over the course of one day. And if you were waiting for that week after week, like nothing happens. Like it's so slow. But yeah, streaming it, binge watching it, it didn't really bother me.
That's the problem with streaming shows now, though, is like probably I would say Breaking Bad maybe was one of the last shows that had a good story arc that you could watch from week to week that was entertaining enough. Now the shows aren't that good. Like the writing, I'm not sure what it is, but they have good writing to get through a season, maybe two, and then they have to go completely crazy on these episodes. And I think part of that is because they release them all at once and they gotta, kind of keep people
Each
in the
season
binge
has
mode.
to be like a movie kind of.
Yeah, but things get so crazy that it makes it not entertaining to watch anymore.
If it's something, if it's anything story driven like Breaking Bad, like if it's not just a straight up comedy or sitcom, right? I think it has to have an end. I don't think you can just write nebulously into the future.
No, I think that's true.
And that's part of the problem with TV now. Is like everything's so even if it's season 1 of a TV show, they're making it with the hopes that Netflix is going to pick it up for 2 more seasons. You know what I mean? So it's just made differently. It's not made like this is a show we're going to work on week after week. Like shows used to, the first season of a show, characters, the way it's filmed, like everything might change quite a bit over the course of a first season. The way characters are written, stuff like that. Like don't you think that? Like
Oh yeah.
pre-streaming, like now everything has to be cut, dried, and finished before anyone even buys it.
They want to know what's going to happen.
You used to be able to work on stuff as you went.
Yeah. So how do you explain The Simpsons lasting for so long?
Simpsons its own thing.
I
They
also
predict
think-
the future, and
I also think The Simpsons is a bad example because personally, I don't know anybody that still watches it, and anybody I do know that is interested in The Simpsons will say they will rewatch the first. I forget the number, but there's a first
10 or 12 seasons or something.
Yeah, something like that they'll watch, and then beyond that they don't watch them.
Yeah.
And
I think that's true to a degree, but I still think it's a watchable show. It's
It
just
is.
there's so many options now. If you went back to having 4 basic networks, or even before that 3 basic networks, it would be an entertaining show that people would watch. I still think it is today, but because there's 15,000 streaming services, YouTube, network, cable, all kinds of different pay services.
They all have
It gets
their own
lost.
shows.
Yeah, it gets lost in the mix, but
Yeah.
you know, and that's the thing. Like we say, well, The Simpsons has been on for 30 years or something crazy like that, and nobody's watching it. So the numbers of people that watch it don't even have to be high anymore because everybody is so spread out. So I forget what it was, if it was ABC or CBS. I don't know. We were watching football, and there was an ad for a show, and I can't even remember the name of it, but it was High Surf Rescue or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even. I mean, where do you even come up with an idea like that? Like some lifeguards that rescue surfers. I guess I mean, that's what we're down to, is picking one genre, like these rescue 911 shows, and
Gotta milk it dry.
Well,
Or just think of how many criminal investigation
Yeah.
things there are.
Well, the only thing I would say about it is they at least got smart and said, well, let's rescue surfers in Hawaii so we can film there and have a
Yeah.
nice place to hang out, during the season.
Yeah, I don't know. TV is a pretty sad state, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. I don't know how anyone can publicly confirm this, but Tony Hinchcliffe was on a podcast recently, and he talked about the watch time for the Tom Brady roast, and it's a Netflix record in terms of watch time. Apparently, every streaming platform now, watch time is the thing that they've figured out
Sure.
equates to the most money. So it's not necessarily just views.
That's their version of the Nielsen ratings.
They want the watch time. They want to know that if you stopped it, you came back to where you stopped and started again. You might have gone back and watched it again. So I forget the number he said that has the Netflix record is what they were told for watch time, the Tom Brady roast. Well, he also said he was told by YouTube, the people at YouTube, that his Kill Tony episode at Madison Square Garden, it had over 1 million more. He said the exact numbers on the podcast, but it had over 1 million more watch time minutes than the Tom Brady roast.
Wow.
His episode of Kill Tony, and he said that's a YouTube record, obviously, and he's obviously talking really highly of
This
himself.
must be just for like live viewership.
What is it? Is it?
No.
Is it as Joe?
I think it's watch time. He said it set a record
His Kill
for
Tony
watch
episodes
time.
are multiple
it's
hours
almost,
long.
It's almost a 3-hour long episode, and I can attest personally, I watched every minute of it multiple times. Because
who's
I
on it?
watched it
How,
once.
how many views are on it? If you just look at views, because if you start getting over a couple million views on something like that, the hours add up. I mean, a lot of the videos that have, like, what's the most viewed thing, like music videos, right?
Yeah.
There's billions of views, but they're only 3
they're
or 4
short.
minutes long.
Well, that's just I bet it's 1 million plus views at least. I
Carter's
really
at the
don't know.
computer.
But Jamie, can you pull that up? But anyway, so if any of that's true, and let's just assume it is, because I don't know how anyone has any way of knowing. Netflix doesn't publish these numbers. YouTube doesn't publish.
They
these
could make them
numbers.
up, for that matter.
They could totally make them up. So let's just say it's real. So the biggest comedy thing ever maybe in my lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's bigger than the Tom, I would have said the Tom Brady roast was the biggest, but supposedly this episode of Kill Tony got bigger numbers.
It's got the Kill Tony, Madison Square Garden, Night One, Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis has 6.6 million views.
And what's the one with Joe Biden and Trump? It's not
Just
actually.
go to Kill
it's-
Tony. Click.
Yeah, that one's got 3.6 million.
So that's the episode in particular they're talking about.
Oh,
with
okay.
Shane Gillis and Adam Ray playing Trump and Biden.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you could turn away from that one.
Well, exactly. So, and also another little fun fact: Shane Gillis, that plays Trump on Tony's show, he was asked to play Trump for the entirety of this season of SNL, and he just like nah, screw you guys.
Yeah, talk
Like,
about a show nobody watches anymore.
yeah. So how I have no idea how TV is going to get fixed. I think from a consumer standpoint, it's great. I'm able to watch supposedly the biggest comedy program in the world for free every week on YouTube on my phone. but in terms of getting everybody onto one platform again, or having some hierarchy of power, like it's so crazy right now. Like, so anything that any of these award shows, like I'm thinking to myself the other night, I'm like, how does Tony not have some recognition or some award for this? I'm like, well, it's because he built something that's way beyond what network television ever could have been. And he did it independently outside of them. They're never going to recognize him. Why should they recognize him?
The only reason that they would recognize him is because they're totally irrelevant.
Right.
And they want to bring him in to give them some relevancy, but they can't do that because they're going to be an edited, family-friendly bunch of bullshit, and nobody wants to put up with that anymore. Or if you do, that's the place to go, but they're literally irrelevant. Network television is totally irrelevant. It's not good for the news. The only thing that they have is live sports, but even that you can get most other places too if you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So what good is it?
It's such a bizarre.
I don't miss it, and I grew up on it.
Well, yeah, I would say it's like a renaissance for entertainment. Like, even think of the stop motion Lego YouTube video we were watching the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know how often that guy posts, but pretty often, and not that they're super long. But I think of the kids we knew being homeschooled growing up. Not everybody could watch whatever it is they wanted, right? But now here's this like super high quality Lego stop motion content that's safe for everybody. Anyone can enjoy it, and it's free, one click away.
Yeah.
Like it. I don't always think of it or respect it, I guess, as entertainment like you should. But really, how that's the same as watching Bob the Builder.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a kid, if you're into Legos, I mean,
what's better?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that stop motion video like that.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. I mean, as an adult, as an AFOL, I like it. It's just. It just points out, though, something that you told me a long time ago, that network television, who cares? Nobody watches it, and it's the generation that's older than me that still watches the local news, which I don't know why they would even call it news. It's just entertainment or whatever. It's like it's sort of like
sensationalism.
Yeah, it's sort of like wrestling, really. Like
WWE.
like news, because there's a face and a heel, and depending on which station you're on, that's what you're getting. You're getting the faces bashing the heels, or you got the heels bashing the faces, or vice versa. You depending on where you're seeing it.
And like I also would think like news, like the word new is in it, right? Like like I can't imagine there is always news. Right, so there's multiple 24-hour news networks. They're trying to update you on what?
Yeah, Ted Turner definitely would have disagreed with you. He's the one that started 24-hour news. CNN.
Well, and again at the time when it started, when that was the easiest way to consume information was through the TV. It definitely made more sense. Now, by the time you see something reported on the TV, you know the backstory and everything already on your phone. So
you've either gotten an alert or a notification from whatever you're subscribed to, whatever, that you know that stuff almost instantly. You can't hardly turn your phone on without getting a notification or something.
Amber alert.
And I don't mean turn your phone on, but push the
look at it.
Yeah, get the screen to turn on. But. Yeah, it is amazing how far it's come, and you think about television is 80 years old, really.
Yeah, is it that old? That.
Yeah, I mean it was around in the 50s. Probably. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it was around in the 40s. So let's call it 80, just for unless somebody wants to Google it.
In the 60s, we broadcasted from the moon.
Yeah,
live from the moon.
Well, that might be a conspiracy theory, but.
Open that tub of worms, the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be on the moon right now.
Maybe we're a moon to a different planet.
How many suns do we have?
I don't know.
Well, I heard a fact today that I thought was crazy. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it too, but it was it's like it's been around 150 years since the invention of the airplane, since Orville and what's his
Wright
The
brothers.
Wright brothers.
Wright brothers.
Wilbur and Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think based on the Carousel of Progress, but I think they just call them the
Those crazy brothers from
North Carolina.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, 150 years since they started their plane, and then SpaceX just caught a rocket out of the sky.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Have you ever heard that the first space shuttle, the one that was launched in the 1980 or whatever, 81, 79, I don't know, somewhere in there, all of the electronic technology on that space shuttle was about what you'd have in a wristwatch nowadays,
Yeah,
which is
like
kind
a
of crazy to
smartwatch.
think about, but
They talk about the moon landings, and all the technology that people use to get to the moon's all been destroyed, and no one knows even what they used.
yeah, well, I mean, it was total guesswork then, I would say, a couple of math problems and, we think this, think that, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, it's hard to put yourself back in those days, but just think of yourself right now and assume that you knew absolutely nothing about what was going on off of this planet. Would you sign up for that to get in something, sit on a giant pile of explosives and get like Looney Tunes shot out of the atmosphere?
No, I don't think it sounds like a smart
No.
idea. Like supposedly these are I mean, I'm sure they're the smartest people that figured out how to do it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a smart idea.
It literally is one step above Wile E. Coyote strapping a rocket to himself.
Yeah.
With
It's-
a rocket and roller skates.
In terms of the effects on your body, it's no different. Like the fact that we didn't figure this out again, like it's like scientifically or creatively, we just pick like the wrong avenue because it's like this. It's obviously doesn't like most people would die. Like it's not a viable.
Well,
thing.
even
It's,
like let's just say, again, going back in time, you didn't know any of the stuff. You got the rocket strapped to you. You got sent out of the atmosphere. You don't have any idea if this little thing that you're sitting in is going to be able to withstand anything that's out there. You don't even know what's out there, really.
Yeah.
And then how are you going to get back? Like, there's really, I know there was a plan, but I mean, come on.
I think any of those people that went into space either just had the biggest balls imaginable or they're just totally delusional. Like I could see where you could be totally delusional and just be like, I trust the math and
Yeah.
and be delusionally hopeful. But I'd have to imagine that these guys are like cold-blooded like
Well,
sharks. I don't
keep
know.
in mind they were all men, and if they're married, maybe it was a escape route. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just trying to get away. That's probably exactly what it is. Married, got a bunch of kids at home. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, put me on a rocket. I don't give a fuck. I've had enough.
Yeah, I mean, get shot out into space. Oh well, it could be worse. I could be sitting at home listening to whatever was going on. I suppose
Yeah, half your kids are the milkmans anyway. Life is fucked.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I always thought about that though. That you'd almost have to be deranged to get in something like that and just blast it out into space.
And the fact that only a few of them blew up too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, think you really, and when you hear interviews with these guys are like, we did the best we could, but at some point you just have to throw caution to the wind and do something.
Right.
And that's what they were doing was,
They
just
always
crazy.
say it's experience. Like even right now, the guy that's stuck in space, he's said something about it. Like still kind of. I don't know if he said experimental, but it was kind of like that. He's
Yeah.
like, he's like there. As much as you can account for issues, there's always the something you can't account for, and that's what you sign up for.
ultimately you're sitting in a piece of equipment that other humans built, and there's always room for error in anything you do. So
Yeah, and look at the quality control on Boeing airplanes.
yeah, they just grounded some other batch of them, right? the same 737s that they had trouble with before, different ones.
I don't know. I didn't really look that far into it other than I just heard the quality control is piss poor and people are getting high in the parking lot, or maybe that was GM. I can't remember.
Does it make a difference?
Chrysler or something, yeah.
More people driving cars than fly, so.
In terms of trusting anybody to inspect anything, you can only trust yourself, right? Like I don't care who said what about what.
Yeah.
Like unless you could go on that airplane and visually be like, okay, yeah, I think it's good. Like I think you are kind of taking your life in your hands because who the fuck is gonna work at an airport and who's gonna be up at 2 in the morning to go out and de-ice and inspect this plane? Like he's not having a good day. I don't know as if he's gonna care whether or not my plane makes it.
Yeah, I never worried about that stuff with flying, but I also flying doesn't bother me.
Did you fly pre 9/11?
Oh yeah,
What was that like?
it was nice. It used when
What was security like before?
there wasn't any.
So all those areas where all the security checkpoints are set up, that's all like temporary. That used to just be open and you just walk through.
I don't know exactly. Like there may have been metal detectors before 9/11, but it used to be that when you went into the airport, anybody could walk up to the gate, and then where the gate where you got on the airplane is, you had to have a ticket, a boarding pass. But other than that, you could walk right up to there and do whatever you wanted to do. And when you check bags, I'm sure they scanned them for stuff. But it used to be flying was thought to be like a luxury thing to do, not.
People would get dressed up, right?
Well, yeah, you might dress decent for it. I mean, you didn't put your sweatsuit on and slippers like you do now, but you were going on a plane, and these airlines would compete with each other who had better amenities. Like
who had cuter flight attendants?
well,
who had...
that's just it. My aunt, who was a flight attendant, she had to maintain a very small window of weight. Tiny. She had to be tiny. And, they, of course, use it as well. You got to be able to get around on the plane, and the planes are small and the aisles are small, so we don't want any heifers in there. But obviously that wasn't the case.
Right.
They wanted an attractive female as a flight attendant or a stewardess back then.
Yeah, stewardess.
But
yeah.
that was an amenity. The food was an amenity. It was what lounge, you could have a lounge for your airline. So
Didn't people smoke on planes?
Oh, yeah.
Like that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is how outlawed it is now. People would smoke on planes, and now they get pissed if you smoke in the bathroom on the plane, like you're gonna burn the thing to the ground or something.
Yeah, that's how they act. They act like it's gonna blow the plane up if you try and smoke.
It seems like the air gets recycled so quickly on them that I don't even think it would
I'm not
matter.
saying I would condone smoking on the plane, but it does.
When I can remember flying, and there was a smoking section, which was all the way in the back, and a non-smoking section, which was maybe like closer to the front, not all the way to the front.
A chair and a half up by the
yeah,
front.
but there was a place where one, row 33 was non-smoking and row 34 was smoking.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Well, like Carter was just saying, they did really turn the air over a lot. So it wasn't like the whole thing was. In my day, at least, it wasn't like the whole thing was flooded with smoke. I'm sure, before, I don't know, say the 30s, 40s, 50s, Indiana Jones times.
Yeah,
you might have been sitting in a tube just completely full of smoke.
Probably couldn't breathe.
Even then, I'm sure it got changed out the air, But
now all your flight attendants look like the woman from Chimp Crazy.
or they're. No, let's see. What's the right term in the LGBT alphabet?
They're just always, to put it politely, they're always unique.
Well, when have you been polite?
The
Unique, huh?
flight attendants today can often be unique, have outstanding outwardly appearance, and sometimes they're men. And I think that might be the most offensive crime of them all.
Yeah, so I almost got in trouble on a plane. I was screamed at by a gay man. Can I claim some sort of sexual abuse that a gay man was screaming at me about about
He had the craziest look in his eye, and at one point he said, "Let's get it on."
that story gets even better because the somebody who did not speak English and was refusing to move was sitting in my seat, and when I questioned anything, I was screamed at by the flight attendant that it was his seat and I was in the wrong, and they're gonna toss us off the plane if I didn't shut up. When we had a ticket for the seats, but
You unfortunately have many strikes against you out in the world.
When was that happened?
that was
Las Vegas.
yeah,
trip,
I was
I think.
flying back from Las Vegas, I think. That was that wasn't the last. Was that the last? It might have been the last time I was on a plane.
Yeah, that was the last time I would say that.
If you had to do a privilege walk, you'd get some points because your parents are divorced, but
That's
those-
about it, right?
Well, yeah, and the fact that you're a straight white man and you have a job and you're not addicted to drugs, it would cancel out the fact that your parents. You have so many more advantages over anyone.
So many more negatives.
No, so they make you feel bad, but they say it's advantages. Like they make you feel bad about yourself.
White
and they say-
privilege.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Obama.
Yeah, you just said that. Thanks, Obama. And the first thing that comes to my mind is we used to be pissed off about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is like a fascist now compared to the garbage that the Democratic Party puts out. It's crazy. Now you look back on it and say, well, I'll take him 10 times out of 10 compared to what's going on now. It's amazing. Isn't it Bill Maher that said that people were on his back, but he basically said, I didn't change.
Yeah.
Everyone else just went completely off the rails.
Exactly. Well, that's so for as hard as it is to listen to Bill Maher at times, especially when he's trying to interact with people younger than himself because he's got too much ego. He doesn't interact well with younger famous people.
Yeah.
During I think it was during the pandemic kind of is when he kind of came out with this stuff, but that's what he said. He said people are starting to call me say I'm on the right or I'm an extremist. I'm a right wing extremist. This is Bill Maher and he goes I took stock and I go no, I'm right where I've always been and the world is going someplace else.
Yeah.
And because he's able to say that and be honest about it, I give him a lot more respect now. And when he has something to say, I'll actually listen because seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like you might not agree with everything he's going to say, but at least he's got a much more reasonable take than most people that want to claim they're on the liberal side.
Well, I think in general politics are they're ever changing because my grandparents were liberal Democrats, and I still have a great aunt and uncle that are, but
They're also 100.
yeah,
So
but
100 years ago.
yeah, 100 years ago, those Democrats, those were like blue collar people, and the Republicans were the rich, or they were the ones that were trying to control or take things away from the working people, and now that's completely opposite. Like who are the biggest, most famous liberal Democrats? They're the richest people in the world, and the people that are going to support the right or Republicans are the working class now. So that's a 180-degree flip for those two parties. And those people that are 100 years old, to your point, they're still Democrats. They don't believe anything at all that they're supporting.
Oh, I know. And when you listen to them talk, it's pretty astounding.
How little they have to say.
Well, no. Like for these older
How much
people,
they have to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, my great aunt and uncle, I don't want to slander anybody, but I've certainly heard comments that would seem racially insensitive.
Sure,
That's
absolutely.
probably the lightest way you can put it. And
Racially and sexual orientation is a
they
big
do not
deal.
put up with
Anything.
anything. Like essentially, they like white Christians.
Yep.
But they're liberals, and that's their whole thing. It's just because they they get lost in the sauce of how things change over time. Or like back when rap albums were coming out, the Liberal Party was like free speech, and the Republican Party was like parent groups don't sell this to kids.
The Reagans, they were all over it trying to ban things, in the 80s.
And now in my time, it's completely flipped. Republican Party is free speech. Say what you want to say, speak your mind, and the other side is there's, I don't even know how long the list is. There's a long list of banned words. For someone of my species, there's a hell of a lot of things I'm not allowed to say. And it's dumb because everyone makes the point like, oh, you're not allowed to say it, but why is everyone saying it? Because you actually are allowed to say it. It's like everyone's kind of trying to miss the point. It's like,
yeah, well, you guys are already heard my rant a million times, but people need to take words back because they're just words. So you can call people, you should be able to call people whatever you want. I mean, people could be offended by it, but you really got to think about it. It's just a word. If somebody punches you in the face, that's different than being called a name or a word. Right. That's a completely different thing. Words don't have to hurt people. Just ignore it. It is really as simple as that too. They're words.
Yeah.
They don't have to have a ton of meaning. You don't have to take it so personally. I don't think there's anything you can say that would offend me.
The other thing that everyone always says is how big of a deal context is. And I don't even mean in the sense of how you use the word, but I know I have used words that I one time I said I used the word adolescent to refer to an adult when I was a kid, right? Just because I had heard a big word on a commercial and thought I'd try and use it. Totally misused it. 100%, like could not have got it more wrong. Like totally backwards. But I had no idea. And again, when you're talking about words, very easily the same thing could happen. Not everybody has the same thing going on in their head when they say something that's not.
Yeah.
Just because you take it a certain way, or my favorite quote that I try when I get pissed off with the world and people around me, which happens quite often, I say this quote: "Don't attribute to," or what do you say? Don't attribute something that could be attributed to ignorance. Don't attribute to malice. Is that right? Is that the quote?
Right.
So, more likely than not, somebody's just stupid. They're not doing something specifically to twist the knife in your chest. They're just as dumb as anyone else and are going about their own business.
Yeah.
I had another thought the other day too, just derail this topic.
Please derail it.
I was watching a video of this guy. He was in China and he was trying to hitchhike in 4 days. It was, I don't know how many miles it was. I would say it was between two big cities. He was trying to get to Beijing or something like that from somewhere else in China, hitchhiking. And he was hitchhiking and he found this guy. The whole video, he found a bunch of different people to drive him, but he eventually found this guy driving a truck, and the truck was hauling iron ore. And while I'm watching this video, I'm thinking, man, this is a third world country. They're hauling iron ore to this factory, to this plant to process it. And then it occurred to me towards the end of the video that it's not a third world country and that we're a third world country. What countries do third world countries manufacture iron ore? I don't know, like off the top of my head, but
no. I think you're 100% right. I've been saying it for a long time that we're a third world country. We can't even have fair elections anymore. So that's one indicator. But no, that's part of being an industrialized first world country is producing.
You watch
basic products.
Yeah, he's actually hitchhiking. He's walking down roads, walking down the highway. The people are nice to him in China. They're helpful. Everything's clean. He's not walking through homeless camps.
Okay, let's not go saying how great China is.
Yeah, this will get taken down. Censored.
Well, no. Probably it would do
We'd
good
probably
if we want to kiss up to China.
I'm not saying that I would want to live in China. I'm just saying that something different should happen because
China.
If you watch them actually doing stuff, they're actually doing stuff. You look at the cities and how nice they are. And then you're driving to work and you're following behind this big yellow school bus that's
falling apart.
Falling apart.
The school buses around
And-
here are gnarly. Like it's shocking. It's shocking. It's even legal.
You go from watching a monorail pick kids up to go to school
Kids
to
that are like 6 years old that don't need an adult to attend them because the society is civil enough to help kids out and not steal them.
No, in this country we have vagrants and drug addicts on every corner that you can't walk by without being accosted. So
I have noticed though they have been putting in sidewalks for the drug addicts, so that's nice. That's an improvement.
I do think that's part of America though, is being a drug addict, but
Having the freedom to be a drug addict.
having
is
the freedom
true.
to do it, but also there's I have other issues.
But I think we got plenty of room. Like there's lots of room in the desert. You can just say go ahead, Burning Man. Like keep it out there. You don't have to be milling around near a school, which unfortunately nearby in our nearest point of light from where we live, you'll see some of the gnarliest homelessness I've seen around the state, and it's within walking distance of a high school. So
yeah,
it's,
but you don't get any attention if you go out in the desert and do it.
You can't panhandle in the desert,
Yeah.
but that would be my in terms of saying freedom. It's like you can have your freedom, but it's over there. It's not. This is where the kids walk to school. It's there. It's also the kids' freedom to be able to walk to school without stepping on a heroin needle.
Yeah.
Kids shouldn't have to worry about that.
If they want to be free to act like that on the street, I should be free to do what I want to do to them on the street. If I want the street clear, there should be freedom to do that.
Like when you see people and they're slumped over, they got the trank slump. Like
Trank slump.
there should be like a rule. Like maybe we just put in a law which just is like those people are now considered infected. They are the walking dead. Like don't let them close to you. Don't let them touch you. You just got, if you see them in public, like deal with them at range. Put them down.
Can we go around like Michonne and just start beheading them?
That would work. That would work. You're probably gonna want instead of a katana, more of like a scythe sort of thing. Because their heads are usually slung way down low by the dirt.
Little Daryl Dixon crossbow.
Has anyone been watching, Carter?
What's the viewer count? Anything
what's,
in the
what's
chat?
Our, what's our peak count? What's our peak
We must
views?
be about an hour, right?
Yeah, we're almost an hour and 20 minutes, and
not
there's
bad.
5 views.
5 views. Holy
Wow.
shit.
Hey, you got to start somewhere. Only had 2, well, technically 4 last night, but I think 2 of those were in this room. So
Well, and also I would say, so this is the first time we're trying it, and it's not intentional that we did it on Friday. It just so happened to be when we got everything together. In terms of doing a live show, I think Friday afternoon is maybe the toughest time to try and get people to tune in live, because everyone's got stuff going on.
as a it missed both of our generations, but in the 90s there was nothing bigger than TGI Fridays,
Yeah.
right? On it was ABC, I think, with
This is a show?
no, it was a whole night of shows.
Oh, okay.
Full House.
They were on Fridays.
Family Matters.
The new episodes would come out on Fridays.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was.
When did it switch to Tuesday or whatever?
I don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. But so yeah, going forward, I think live streaming, I was saying if we're going to do it one night a week, I'd probably pick Wednesday. But we might do multiple nights a week. Who knows?
That means you have to have dinner over here, Carter.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, Friday night, obviously a tough night to try and clamp people down to the sofa for a live stream.
Is Friday night still a thing?
I think it is. I think Friday night is still a thing. It's not.
Hardly.
What's bigger, Thursday night or Friday night?
I think college-wise, Thursday night is the bigger night.
Yeah, I'd say college-wise. I even think though, like I think of the other adults I know that have just kind of been in their day-to-day grind. I think Thursday, Friday are still pretty big. Saturday, things maybe Saturday doesn't hold as much weight, but I feel like Thursday, Friday, people are generally pretty pumped up.
Yeah.
Friday night tonight, karaoke at Blue Bay. I'm sure people are fired up.
I'm a hermit recluse, so I wouldn't know.
Hermit recluse and maybe undiagnosed autism. So
Well, self-diagnosed on the spectrum.
yeah. So
Well, maybe your mother diagnosed me. I don't know.
but so you don't necessarily have the social gene, which is kind of funny because mom is like one of the most social. Or not that like I think now mom enjoys her time to be a hermit just as much as you do.
Yeah.
Not that she doesn't.
I'm winning her over to the hermit side.
Yeah, yeah, you are. You're corrupting her. But
Winning over, corrupting, same thing. I'll say.
but mom is the type of person. If there's other people in the room, she might just start talking to them just because they're other people. And
She claims to be super shy, but
you would never guess that.
No.
I never would have said mom was a shy person. I never would have thought that based on the amount of conversations I've had with old women in the checkout line at the grocery store. Never would have guessed she was shy.
or anywhere for that matter. But yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think I'm shy. I just don't necessarily have things that I want to talk to people about, I guess, Or if it is, it's probably something negative that I should just keep to myself. when you're standing in the checkout line at the grocery store, I probably ought to just stay quiet.
Sometimes I should just stay quiet, but I'll just blurt something out because I felt like it. But I feel like it's more if I have to be around people, I'd rather be the one talking. I'd rather drive the drive the conversation or whatever it might be. Like, I don't like being in a room with if it's people I know that you're comfortable with, I can be in the room and can be totally silent. If I don't know them, there's nothing more uncomfortable for me than sitting in a room silently with somebody I don't know. And like now it's customary for everyone to just look at your phone. So it's kind of like code for don't talk to me. Everyone's just going to be on their phone. But even still, it's so like painfully awkward. Like I would rather just make conversation, even just for a couple of minutes to establish that we are both human beings, right? Like
Sure.
There's something awkward about being in the room with somebody.
I might revel in that awkwardness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what you're saying, but sometimes it's just, well, I'll put it this way. You get to a point where you were sitting there awkward for long enough that now it's going to be awkward to try and start a conversation.
Yeah.
And
true.
that's
true too.
that's the place, the purgatory that I find myself in at times,
I'm so bad that like maybe it's because I made YouTube videos for so long or whatever, but I'll talk out loud and I'll narrate what I'm doing to myself. If I'm alone, like if I'm not with people and I'm in public, I'll narrate what I'm doing. And it's really bizarre, but now everybody that is walking by me, now they're all inside my thoughts anyway, because I'm just talking out loud. So it kind of bridges the gap to start a conversation. Maybe, I don't know, but
yeah, that might be something. I don't know. Maybe that's a super common thing, or maybe something. I always say that out of you four guys, Curtis and Carter were the first, so they sort of their personalities sort of take on one or the other of your mother or myself.
yeah,
You got kind of all of our bad traits, like all of the things that are maybe not the greatest things. You got kind of all of those, and Calvin got like all the better stuff for some reason.
yeah. I'm always pissed about that.
Yeah.
Calvin got all the good shit.
But that narration thing, that's how my brain works all the time. Like, because I've always pretty much worked by myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that dialogue going on in my head about what's going on around me. And it's not, I'm not maybe vocalizing it, but it's going on all the time, whether it be like a radio show or if it's just direct narration. But
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
it is weird, and what's really weird, and it's like
What's weird is some people don't have any internal
Well,
internal
that's what
thoughts.
they say, but how could that even be true? What? How could you?
I don't even know how you can describe things to people. I only know how my
Yeah,
brain works.
Right. Well,
and so
that's the thing. You only know what you know,
it-
and
how would you know if anyone was really different? I don't really know.
and to be totally honest with you, I didn't learn any of this stuff until my late 40s. I didn't even understand that there was such a thing as not knowing how to do things. Like, I thought if you were driving, like, say, a pickup, you would be able to back it up into a spot and then do whatever you need to do. I didn't realize that people were out there that were unable to back up a car into a space or do anything. I thought people knew how to do things, and that was just a normal part of life. And turns out I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because lots of people, I swear, go through life with just nothing going on in their head at all.
You don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I sort of envy that. I mean, as somebody that overthinks everything,
Yeah.
it would be nice to just.
It's all the same in the end. You know. It's like why stress about it?
Yeah, these guys are making the same or more money than I am doing the same job, and they don't
Yeah.
have to stress, worry, think about anything.
Yeah, they don't
And when
care.
they break something, well.
we were drilling, we were coring holes through a foundation the other day, and when sometimes the core would snap off in the drill bit, and so you'd have to pull the drill bit out and hit it with a hammer, and until the thing fell out, you just have to spin the drill and keep tapping it with a hammer till the core fell out.
Yeah.
And it was clear as day to me after the first time I did it. I was tapping it. It was making a certain noise. The core fell out, and the drill bit instantly started making this clear as day pinging noise. And I'm like, okay, it's empty. Go back to drilling. Well, I'm watching these other people in there just tap, and there's ping, 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 ping. Then tip the drill up, check to see if there's anything left. Yep, you're good. Keep going. And I don't understand it.
It's a train of thought, basically, that you start putting things together. Oh, the sound changed. Something must be different. But some people don't even think that far. Just not at all. And like I said, I sort of envy that because...
I do think to a degree, like, obviously there's a spectrum of intelligence, and the U.S. military has a bar that they say, if you're below this bar, you are of no value. And that's the U.S. military, where you essentially can have no brain, right?
Yeah. Grunt.
They have a bar where if you're below it, they say you have no value. So whatever. But I do think a lot of it is you can be taught how to think. Like, you don't have to learn anything other than how to think and how to be a problem solver. Like, I think a little bit of it comes naturally, but I think because everyone in our family are problem solvers, like, nobody's going to sit around and call somebody else to come fix their problem in our family. If you got a problem, you're solving it. You got to go to the store and get what you need, or whatever it is. You're going to be the one that takes care of it. And I think that's a thought process that needs to be taught. I don't think everybody naturally is going to be able to be a problem solver and just attack things. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting late early here, so that's kind of a topic for another day, but that's a function of the United States education system more than anything, to take away that ability to think.
Yeah.
It's more about memorization, it's more about just getting the basics drilled into you so that you may or may not know them. But the idea that you're actually going to think for yourself and make decisions based on thoughts that you have and what's going to be best for you, they don't want that. They want to create a nice, obedient class of people that they can manipulate.
Yeah, a good product.
Yeah.
Good product at the end
That's
of
a
the
good
line.
way of looking at it, turning out a good product.
And what are we? We're rubbish. We're
You guys are all rejects because
Yeah.
you're homeschooled, and we all know all the things that are associated with that.
Yeah.
The lack of socialization has ruined you. So
Yeah.
I hear people talk about that all the time. Oh, I have to get my kid into a daycare because they need to be socialized. I think that's the biggest load of crap that you can ever come up with.
Yeah.
That's justification 101. And I'm kind of sick of dealing with this kid, so out the window.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The one thing I get a lot of flack for, or I have been recently, is and I noticed a sandwich in your fridge the other day is bringing home McDonald's and putting it in the fridge.
Wow, full circle back to fast food.
Well, you know, Curtis, you got yourself a gym membership, so you're probably not long for McDonald's. I don't think. How much longer are you even going to be allowed to eat it?
I think you can eat it as much as you want, really.
Well, you think that.
Morgan Spurlock would disagree,
Yeah.
but he's dead, so we don't have to worry about
When
that.
did he die?
I don't. Was it last year? A couple years ago? I don't know. I think that guy irritates me, I guess, because he gave McDonald's a bad name.
Yeah,
And as a family, we all pretty much agree that McDonald's is fine. We don't eat it every single day, although probably if we lived near one, it would be close to that.
If I will fully admit, if I regularly was near McDonald's, I would stop every time I was near it.
You say that, but I think you'd get sick of it. You wouldn't go every time, every day you drive
I don't
by.
know. I mean,
You
I
get sick of it.
probably go. I would say
Initially,
if three
maybe, but-
times in a month, I would say is on the higher side. Like
Yeah.
I don't really keep track, but I would say 3 times in a month is fair,
If there was one
and I don't get sick of it.
that was where you worked, you'd probably get something there every day for lunch.
Easily. If I, especially like if there was one right in downtown and I could walk to it,
Yeah.
can you freaking imagine? I'd be there at breakfast and lunch
McDelivery.
every day. Yeah, there'd be no stopping me.
Just one more thing about McDonald's. If you order, I was looking on the app yesterday because we got some stuff there, and if you order a 10-piece McNugget, it was $6.19, I think, for a 10-piece McNugget. A 20-piece McNugget is $8.29. So why would you ever get the 10-piece?
You know, I think we've had that thought for a while because I'll only order a 20-piece. If somebody ever even tells me to get them nuggets, I'll order the 20-piece and say I'll eat a couple.
They had a
used to be-
30 or a 40 piece.
They still have a 40-piece. It's just two 20-piece but I didn't even look at the price on that because who could eat 40 McNuggets? But maybe the dog.
Yeah, the
I
dog.
don't know.
probably.
Maybe the dog would give up too after a while.
I bet he'd eat them all and then throw up immediately. But well, we can kind of close this episode out. This I don't know what if I would give it like an episode title. So obviously, like the idea is maybe this is called the Kinville Show, but then each episode would have its own title. I don't necessarily know. Right off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking Mick Podcast is what I would call.
Yeah, a lot of McDonald's talk.
We talked a little bit about fast food, and Mick Podcast is kind of a play on, or at least I think of it as a play on McDojo, which is a play, or it's making fun of shitty karate dojos,
Yeah.
the ones that aren't legit. It's a McDojo, and this could be a Mick Podcast. So
McMansion, McDojo, McPodcast.
yeah, exactly.
I've been hearing that a lot recently. Make this, make that.
Yeah, it's nothing new, obviously, but I like it.
Might be racist.
You think?
I don't know, Mick. That was a slang or racist term for Irish. Yeah,
Irish people. Well, so we're safe then.
yeah.
We're clear.
Call it by your own kind.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess that'll kind of be it. Feel free to let us know in the comments. This video is going to get posted, so you can watch it in perpetuity, and we'll be back at it and at some point.
Yeah, bring on the comments.
Yeah, give us some comments. See what you can say. Critique it.
If anyone made it to the end.
Some people might.
Oh, right. Yeah. If you made it to the end, if there's of this video,
This little we'll throw this at the end. If you made it all the way through the video, you can comment. Which they comment if they made it this far in the video. You can just comment.
It's Mick Great.
Yeah. It was a Mick Great episode. Is what you can comment if you made it this far. Let us know that you watched all the way through. That'll be our secret code, and hopefully people enjoyed, and hopefully we'll do this again.
When are you gonna do it again? Weekly?
I'm thinking
Daily? Monthly?
Well, do you guys? Let's have an on-air discussion real quick.
We're not at the end yet.
Initially, I said probably Wednesday. Typically, we do family dinner Wednesday night, so it doesn't have to be Wednesday. We could say Tuesday. I also proposed
Wait a minute.
doing the show Monday through
I think Wednesday's
Thursday.
fun because Carter can make dinner.
Okay.
Carter wouldn't cook.
Well, it's okay. Somebody can cook here. I, by the way, like cooking, but, I'll take a break for a bit.
I don't know. I think starting with 1 day a week would be fine. I think.
Well, so
Just
just
so
so
we-
if anyone's watching, if they want to come back next week,
We could be gross and eat while we do this.
we could. Why not? Do you want to say Wednesday, or you want to not say? We can just figure it out later.
I think we can figure it out.
So you heard it here first.
We'll
This
put
is
it in the
first-
description.
This is the first, last, and only episode of the Kinville Show. It may never return. We can put it in the description, or we'll post something on the channel letting people know when to tune in. We'll put some sort of schedule out once we get a better idea of what we want to do. But hopefully you got some entertainment value out of this. If nothing else, maybe it just killed some time while you were driving or riding a lawnmower or whatever it is you do. I listen to podcasts all day at work on my headphones constantly. And I'm sure lots of people do the same.
I think that's the new normal.
Yeah. So hopefully you can let us fill your brain with nonsense instead of other people. We're not promoting anything. We're not sponsored by anybody. We're just,
Are you against that?
I'll sell out. I'll sell out instantly. But I'll at least tell you when I do. But for right now, this is all independent. Carter ordered stuff off Amazon. This is not no sponsors, no production, no nothing. So ripping it to you raw punk rock style. Hopefully you can throw us a bone for that. Hopefully you get some respect points on the street. But okay, I guess that's enough.
This is the second time I'm rolling the outro song.
Okay, roll the outro.